Now, if you turn your attention away from my mug and over to the charty tart over here, you'll see that we're looking at the daily chart for the NQ, the Nasdaq mini contract, the front month, if you will. All right. We've already identified that we are at all-time highs, right? And when you're trading at all-time highs, you don't have anything to look to the left, and get a clue from. So we have to rely on other aspects that Michael has taught us to give us, right, some guidance inside here. And this is where understanding a lot of the concepts shine. We've been talking about this, okay? Now, you have a lot of people who like to try to pick the top and pick the bottom, right? Rule number one in trading, not just ICT concepts, but rule number one in trading period is never try to pick a top in a bull market and never try to pick a bottom in a bear market. You never try to pick the top or bottom because Phil will keep driving that thing. When you feel like it's totally irrational and it's got to turn around now, Phil will push it a little bit further. He'll push it a little bit further. He will push it a little bit further. And not for the rest of the night, y'all gonna be like, a little bit further. So, if you're looking at the charty tart right now, and you're trying to figure out why in the world I have these Fibonacci's drawn up here, right? You might be looking up there. Is there anybody in here right now that's looking up there saying, Tim, why in the world, right, do you have these Fibonacci's up there? Right? Let's hide this right here. Boop, get out of there. Is there anybody here right now that's thinking, Tim, why in the world are these Fibonacci lines just floating up here in the middle of anywhere? Is there anybody who has no clue about why we have spoke about this for like every day this week thus far? Every day, today is Wednesday. We talked about it Monday. We talked about it Tuesday. Right? Is there anybody who's confused as to why this Fibonacci tool is floating up here in the middle of nowhere? Right? Going once, going twice. All right. Everybody understand what? First time tuning in this week. So yeah, I'm confused. What's up, Tyreek? We got y'all give it up for Tyreek for pulling up, man. Tyreek said this is first time pulling up this week. Shout out Tyreek, right? RG Cutter said to capture price. Not to capture price, to help us identify what price levels will be important and what price points price will react to beyond structure. We don't have any more structure up here to look. See, if I squeeze this up, there's nothing over here. There's nothing over here we're at all-time highs. There's nothing over here. So, Tyreek, right? The reason why I have these Fibonacci lines up here is because not just at all-time highs, at any point in price, when you have a manipulation leg, right, that goes down into an anticipatory reactionary point, like our long-term low right there, right? I don't know if you have been tuning in, but this low right here at 23,025 and a quarter, that was our sell side liquidity we was anticipating price to draw down into, and that was the September low from the continuous contract. Now, let's talk about that for a second before we move on. Let's go over here to the continuous contract in Q1. one exclamation point on TradingView. Now, if you turn B adjust off, that gives you the price points where these highs, lows, fair value gaps, everything was created during that time. So if we come over here to September, right here, September the 2nd, right? That's August. So September the 2nd, right there, right? We see that the low, right, in September was created right there at that 23,025 and a quarter, right? That's where B adjust off. So when you got B adjust off for the continuous contract, that gives you the price points where everything was made back then when that contract was the front month, right? No matter which, you know what I'm saying, contract time you're looking at. It could be during this contract time, during this contract time, during this contract time, right? It's giving you the time where it was made during that time, right? So the algorithm remembers it made that low during that time, right? When you turn B adjust on, right? That's the, I like to call it, it's adjusted for inflation. Because every time you roll over to a new contract month, right, the price goes up on everything, right? So when this contract starts, right, what the price was yesterday, it's now higher. So it will adjust all the previous contracts, all the previous price action up to match what the new price is now going forward. So as it does that, it continuously adjusts higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, right? So the B adjust is giving you the inflation adjusted one, right? And if you look at from, right, if we come here, this right here is our, this start the front month that we in now, right? If you look there and I turn B adjust on and off, you see those can't, from this green candle here forward, they don't move at all. Nothing moves. If I spread it out so you can see it well, right? Nothing moves after, I'm pointing like you can see my finger. Nothing moves after this line, right? Because that's the front month. That's what the real value is now. So when it closed on this day here, right, the value was 24,654 and 3/4, right? And then when it opened the next day with the inflation, right, then that closure was at 24,872, right? But it wasn't that much, but whatever the adjusted price was before then, right? Now that adjusted price is accounting for all of the adjustments beforehand. You know what I'm saying? But when it probably was like $30 or $40 difference. You know what I'm saying? When it adjusted the next day. But since we had so many different adjustments throughout time, that's why there is a, let's see. That's why there is a 217.5 point difference, because over all this time, it's been adjusting $20 here, $10 there, $15 there, $30 there. Over all the time, it keeps adjusting up and up and up and up and up. All right. Now, that's where we get that low from. That was just a long-winded answer as to where we get that low from. All right. So we were looking at that low because we were trading well below all of the current price action of the front month. So when you're trading outside the current price action of the front month, you want to keep in mind, right, the levels for when they were made back then, right? So once we hit our level, right, we got our manipulation leg going into our level, and then we come up and we get our break in market structure, right? We got a break in market structure here, okay? We got our breaking market structure, right? We got our change in the state of delivery, right? And so now we say we got our breaking market structure, we got our change in the state of delivery. So now we're saying we are on the right side of a market maker buy model, right? So once you get that, be it all-time highs or just anything, now you can take your Fibonacci tool, right? And you can go in and set it for projections, right? The way I set it, right, is since it's a market maker buy model, we're looking at bullish projections, right? And you come to the low of that manipulation leg, pull the Fib tool up and to the left, right? And you go back to the swing high, the first swing high you get to, right, in that manipulation leg down. Boop. Right? So from the low back to the swing high. So this is our manipulation leg right there coming down into our liquidity, right? And for those who don't know what the settings are for projections, these are, you don't have to go up to -11. Tim, why do you have negative numbers in here, right? You set it in half standard deviation moves because the algorithm is going to respond to these levels, right? Why? Because the algorithm moves in these halves, quarters, right? Think about it. Premium discount. What are you doing? You're breaking a range up into a half, right? So you're projecting it out in half standard deviation moves, and the numbers are negative because when you put negative numbers in, whichever way, when you anchor your Fib tool in whichever direction you stretch it in, that's the direction it's going to project if you put negative numbers in. So if you want to project up, you click it at the low and then pull up, then it projects up. Okay, now that we see that it's projected up, we see that once we come up here above our highest high that we can get to right there, there's no more price for us to look at over there. So what do? Right? These projections, right? These are dealing ranges. I'm using air quotes. These are dealing ranges that the algorithm understands, right? The algorithm understands that because I made this low down here at, let me make these numbers bigger so we can all see them, and y'all to be like, Tim, where you pulling these numbers from? At Uranus, right? Because we made this low down here at 22,961 and a half, and I made that high of that manipulation leg at 24,763 even. I know that one standard deviation is at 26,564 and a half, and I know that a 1.5 point standard deviation is 27,465 and a half. And so what that does, right, once I run out of price action to look at, I can now use these deviation blocks, if you will, as dealing ranges, as separate PD arrays. So this one standard deviation PD array, right, that one standard deviation level, we can look at that as a PD array or as a point of liquidity, right? A liquidity pool. With this 1.5, we can look at that as the next logical point of liquidity, right? So if this is a point of liquidity and that's a point of liquidity, then what we can do is we can take us a Fibonacci tool and anchor it to one point of liquidity at 27,465 and a quarter, and anchor it at another point of liquidity, the two logical points of liquidity, and the distance in between those, the halfway point gives us event horizon.
Let him cook! I said let him cook!
Y'all do me a favor, hit a like for the algorithm and subscribe to the channel if you ain't subscribed.